Hi guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. I hope everyone is having a good day. Welcome everyone, and this one is a should be a good one. We are discussing a wildcard draft for Game Week 9. I know there's an international break coming up, and we do have a lot of time now to discuss wildcards, but we thought we'd get one out. Just early thoughts. Now, this probably will change between now and the Game Week 9 deadline, which is a while away still, but we thought we'd put out a wildcard draft because a lot of people have been asking us to do one, so we thought we'd get one out there. But yeah, how are you doing, Jordan?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Enjoying the break from fantasy Premier League. Just a little ease off the mark of the stress of players blanking and curses happening. So yeah, it's nice to have a little break off for the international break.
Yeah, international break it lets us reset and go again kind of thing. But as always, we've got to discuss FPL because that's what we do. And we've got FPL Penguin in the chat. He says, "Hey lads," he doesn't agree with you really, Jordan. He wants FPL back already. We've just literally obviously started. International break hasn't actually started yet, has it? So still a while to go. When is the deadline for Game Week 9 anyway? Is it October now? I feel like.
Yeah, I think it's the start of October.
I'm just gonna check. Yeah, October the 1st. So yeah, it's there. So it's next month. It feels weird to say that. No football till October now. So, but yeah, we still got to make a wildcard draft. So let's get into it. So what we've done, guys, we've done 2 wildcard drafts for Game Week 9. As people do know, I am actually wildcarding myself for Game Week 9. So you'll see what I do. Obviously, Jordan did play the Game Week 8 wildcard. But we did 2 drafts, my take and also Jordan's take. So you can see, 2 different ideas and 2 different ways we've gone about it. I haven't actually seen Jordan's team yet at all. So I will actually be seeing Jordan's team for the first time as well on the stream. So it'll be nice to chat, see any differences between us. And yeah. So let's bring up my team first, my Game Week 9 wildcard draft that I've made. And yeah. So I'll actually discuss why I've gone with these picks now. So as you guys can see in goal, I have gone with Guaita. Now, Guaita probably won't start for me that week. I'll probably play Ward, who's on the bench. So Ward has a better fixture against Nottingham Forest. But I do like Guaita because 4.5 million and he's pretty cheap. And I think the fixtures, as I've mentioned quite a lot, is quite good for Palace, especially the defensive players' potential for clean sheets. So I'm going to bring up Palace's fixtures because I don't actually have them on me. But I know the fixtures run is very favourable to Palace. You look at their fixtures on the screen now. Game Week 9, okay, is tough. They've got Chelsea, which maybe not the best game to play Guaita in. But after that, Leeds at home, Leicester away, Wolves at home, Everton away, then Southampton as well. So that's why I've gone with Guaita. I think Guaita is definitely one that you should be considering if you are wildcarding in Game Week 9, just because the fixture run looks great. If I'm honest, up until Game Week 16, and I think he will be quite popular. And that's one of the main reasons as well from Game Week 8 and Game Week 9 wildcard. Because in the Game Week 8 wildcard, Guaita had a blank. So there's no way I could have bought Guaita in for that. So I know Guaita might not sound like such a big player like in that sense, but he did change my plans a bit. And I'm thinking I'm going to have a new goalkeeper. So I thought I'd wait out for Game Week 9. And then looking at the back 4, I've gone with Trippier, James, Cancelo, and Trent. Now, obviously, a lot of people are looking at this team and thinking I've got 2 Liverpool players in there, which already differs very much to Game Week 8 wildcarders, because I've not seen any Game Week 8 wildcarder with Salah and Trent in the team. So a key difference for me wildcarding this week was actually that I can bring Liverpool back in for their fixture against Brighton at home. So that's why I've gone with Trent. I still think Trent is the best defensive asset in the game. A couple of bad games for me won't change that. I think once he gets back on form and Liverpool start playing well again, we know what Trent's capabilities are and the potential holes he has in him. So Trent is in my team, no doubt. I think I'm going to go with Trent. And regarding Liverpool, Brighton at home, a bit of a differential, that double Liverpool, because not Liverpool will have that. But then after that, it does get a bit tougher for Liverpool. Arsenal in game week 10. Man City as well in game week 11, which is a bit tough. But then after that, West Ham, Nottingham, Leeds. So I like the Liverpool players still. And I think I will definitely be having them in my team. For me, they're locks already. So yeah, Trent's in. Cancelo, the fixture isn't great. Man United, but I still believe he's one of those players that can also get returns out of nowhere. And you don't really want to back against Cancelo, but he's one that could be potentially downgraded to a Reece James, etc. And then, a Chilwell, I meant, and I've got Reece James, his teammate in my team as well. Same again with Chelsea, great fixtures. Crystal Palace in game week 9, and then they've got Wolves, they've got Villa, they've got Brentford, Man United, Brighton, Arsenal, and then Newcastle up until game week 16. So Chelsea's fixtures are also very, very good for me. And I don't think I'll be going without James. So he's definitely locked into my team. Trippier, we've spoke a ton on Trippier already regarding fixtures. He's also another good pick, and I think he will be a bit template now, but fixtures are good. Newcastle are playing pretty well. He's looking good as well. And, apart from Man United in game week 11 and even Spurs in game week 13, the fixtures look good for Newcastle. So Trippier is a dead set in my team. And that is pretty much the back line, guys. Moving on to the midfield, I've gone with Salah. Spoke about Salah. I think he's a bit of a differential. A lot of people have got rid of him, and same with Trent. He has that potential to potentially get a haul against Brighton, and I think it's a good fixture for him at home for hopefully a double-digit return. And yeah, Salah for me is definitely in my team. I'm not gonna think twice about that. I know that might sound controversial because I know a lot of people aren't really feeling Salah at the moment. But yeah, he's definitely coming into my team, and I'm not compromising on that one. I've gone Maddison as well. I know a lot of people on the game week 8 wildcard went Maddison, so nothing different there. I just think Maddison's fixtures look brilliant. Nottingham, Bournemouth, Palace, and Leeds to come. So I think Maddison's definitely one that you'd want in a wildcard team, especially for game week 9. His ownership's still fairly low, 5.7%. So I think he makes sense in that sense. Yeah, people will say Leicester haven't been great, etc. But going forward, they haven't been too bad. I mean, they still score a few goals here and there. It's just defensively, they don't look great. So I'm quite happy to have Maddison for the running. I think that's one gamble I've got to take. So yeah, Maddison's a lock, easy. Leon Bailey, as you guys can see, I've also included him, and this one might raise a few eyebrows. Why Leon Bailey? He's been a bit of a troll this season. But mainly the reason he's in there is I plan to bench him most weeks. So Zaha has Chelsea. I will come onto my bench, but I don't plan to play Bailey much at all, if I'm honest. Just the weeks where Haaland might blank. Haaland does blank in game week 12, I believe. So those weeks where there are blanks, I'll just play Bailey. And Bailey plays Fulham in game week 12. So it's not a bad fixture for him. So that's why I've gone with him. More of a player that I play when other players are missing out. And I think Bailey's fixtures are still decent. I know he hasn't really hit the heights that we thought in preseason, but at 4.7 million for a bench player that I'm going to have, I think it's fine. And I'm probably going to go there with him in my personal team. Obviously, guys, the team currently isn't locked in. There will be changes to come. But for now, I've settled on this. And as you see, the front three, got Mitrovic. Don't really need to say much about him. I think he's also going to be very popular on a Game Week 9 wildcard. His ownership now at 30% as well. So he's owned by quite a few managers in the game. Fixtures for Fulham are looking good as well. And I think at that price bracket, 6.9 million for Mitrovic, there isn't really anyone else that you can buy in that range. There's Isak and stuff, but Mitrovic's fixtures look good. And we know what he's done so far this season. 6 goals, I believe. And yeah, he's definitely locked pretty much into my team. Haaland, I'm not going to discuss Haaland because he's in everyone's team. If you don't have Haaland, what you guys doing? So just bring Haaland in, and it's just, yeah, for me, it's an obvious one. Haaland's in every team. Moving on, Solanke. People might think, why have I got Solanke in there? The reason mainly is just because he's so cheap. He's 5.7 million. He's only owned by 0.5% of managers in the game. So Solanke is a bit of a differential. Now, I don't expect Solanke to, get many goals, but I look at Bournemouth's fixtures. They've got Brentford, then they've got Leicester, then they've got Fulham, then they've got Southampton, then West Ham, Spurs, which is quite tough as well in 14, and then Leeds and Everton to finish it into the international break. So Bournemouth have a really, really good run until the international break. So I think Solanke could be worth to take a punt on just because of his price and the fixtures. Now, yes, Bournemouth don't score many goals, and they probably are the worst team in the league. I think that's fair to say. But I'm banking on when they do score a goal, it to be Solanke, and also we know he's on penalties, so I like that about Solanke that he does get the pens. Also, he plays 90 minutes pretty much every game. I know he's already got one double-digit haul against Nottingham this season, which was nice. But other than that, he's pretty much blanks all round. But I think Dominic Solanke is going to go there. I'm going to go there just because of the money I can save, and it lets me kind of, bulk up the rest of my defense. It allows me to have a Cancelo or a James and a Trippier and a Trent. You see, he's fairly big at the back, so I like the fact that Solanke is a bit of an enabler in this team. Even Bailey, they allow me to. You see my bench. We're gonna quickly move on to there. It allows me to have a better bench. So I've got Ward on my bench. Okay, he's not. I could go to someone else, but for now, I think Ward's fine. I've also added Justin into my team. Now, Justin has Nottingham Forest in game week 9, and I think he's a decent pick for at 4.3 million. I think he's, I believe so. He's a decent option as a cheap defender, and Leicester's fixtures are good. I know they're not looking very good right now defensively, but he's just one that I thought I'd put in there because he's got attacking potential, and he's gonna play those weeks where there's blanks. So in game week 12. Leicester play Leeds at home, so I'm hoping you can get a bit of cover there if I have to take some changes. So yeah, also I've got Andreas on the bench. I think he's fairly popular in every team, so I'm happy to have him. He's probably the best. He's the best 4.5 million midfielder in the game, and I've also got Zaha on the bench as of now, just because of Palace's fixture run. Look very favorable. So yeah, that's the team, guys. My team value is around 101.3, I believe. And then in the bank, I've also got 0.2 million with this current team. So most of you should be able to afford this team. But yeah, this is my current state, or what I'm thinking for Game Week 9. If I was to, I've already pressed the wild card. So this is what I'd go with. Let me know what you guys think of the team. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you like any of the players I've picked? Is there someone I'm missing out? I want to know your thoughts, guys. So do drop it in the comments. I'm trying to read some out. Isak injury legit or not? Not heard about an Isak injury. Have you, Jordan?
No, I haven't heard of injury from Isak. I mean, that's pure speculation as far as we know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that because obviously we just come on. I've been out pretty much all day. So if there is an Isak injury, let me know. Sherwin says that's a solid team, and he says he likes the Solanke pick. Krosberg also says, isn't combination Trip and Mitro a bit risky since they play each other? I mean, yeah, I guess. Mitro does play in Newcastle that week, so maybe I could play a Zaha against Chelsea. I could play Andreas, even Justin against Nottingham Forest. I don't know how to pronounce that, but they're saying they start Zaha over Bailey. Yeah, also I could do that, but this is just showing you guys what you can afford when you have a Bailey in your team. So when you get a Bailey, you can do a Zaha, you can do a Justin, a Solanke, and then it lets you go, add Salah in. It lets you have Trent as well. So I think the wildcard looks okay. I can't promise I will definitely go with this team, but at the moment, I'd say at least, for me, definitely, Guaita is a lock, probably. Trent's a lock. James is a lock. Trippier's a lock. Maddison, Salah are locks. Mitrovic, Haaland are locks as well. So only a couple of positions where I could change around. For example, instead of having Justin, I could go Patterson at Everton. If you want to go there, I could also do something a bit interesting and drop Zaha. So take Zaha out and bring in Barnes. play Barnes that 1 week against Nottingham Forest, and then do Barnes to Zaha for game week 10. I've thought about that as well. So I'm not completely ruling out a Maddison and Barnes double up on game week 9 against that and targeting Nottingham Forest and then taking him out for Zaha. So you could also do that, guys. But the rest of the team, I'm quite happy with. I like the rest of the team. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are, guys, as well in the comments below. Sherwin says, would you consider downgrading Cancelo to Stones to free up funds? Probably not. I still think Cancelo is just high upside for me. He's a big goal threat. Assist wise, he can get attacking returns, and I probably wouldn't consider that if I'm honest. But there is a conversation to be had whether you go without Cancelo on a wildcard 9, because I've seen a lot of people that have said, do I really need Cancelo for game week 9 wildcard? Because in game week 9 they play Man United. Now, whether you think they'll keep a clean sheet against Man United is up to you, but it's been a quite tough fixture for Man City. I know they're at home, but United could definitely score. Game week 8 they play Southampton. Sorry, game week 10 they play Southampton. And okay, that's a good fixture. But then in game week 11 they play Liverpool, and then 12 is a blank. So, what do you think of Cancelo, Jordan, as an asset? Because I've just read he's got Man United, then Southampton, then Liverpool, and then it's a blank. Do you think you need him even on a 9 wildcard?
Yeah, I think still Cancelo is a necessity player to have in your team, even though he blanks in 3 game weeks after.
Yeah, game week 12 he blanks.
In game week 12. So you pretty much still have him until when he blanks in game week 12, in my opinion, because his ownership is still considerably high. It's expected to drop though as the game week comes close to the deadline, but I still think it's a necessary defender to go for a premium, because that attacking threat, obviously we've seen from Man City, Cancelo plays a very high line for a defender, and he does have chances even to score goals as well. He has that off little shot here and there, and then maybe one of them does go in by a goalkeeper mistake or a really nice shot. So I think that the upside and downside to that is there's more upside to having Cancelo rather than a downside, because the only downside is he blanks in, obviously, game week. Is it game week 12? He blanks in.
Yeah, game week 12 he blanks.
So that's the only downside to Cancelo. I mean, the fixtures for Man City, can't be argued with the way they've been playing at the moment. I mean, there's not really a difficult fixture for Man City, and there's always that potential that they do keep clean sheets against these next these 3 teams, even though it could be difficult against Liverpool, obviously, and Man United. But we've seen Man City with the new signing Haaland, they are looking pretty formidable at the moment. And if it was me, I would be keeping Cancelo in the game week 9 wildcard.
Okay, we are going to come on to your wildcard 9 team as well next, but we've got Dan Hilton on the chat as well. He says Cancelo gets a few bonus points as well. Yeah, this is another good comment actually, because he did pick up 3 bonus points last week, even though he didn't get a goal or an assist. So he's a bit of a bonus points magnet as well. So that's good for him. But yeah, I think I'll probably will keep Cancelo. I just think even against Man United, do you expect a clean sheet for Cancelo against Man United, by the way? Would you think Man United score?
I think Man City can keep a clean sheet, even though I don't want them to, obviously. But yeah, I do think they can keep a clean sheet against Man United. It's going to be a tough match. Probably not a high-scoring game, but I think Man City can control the game pretty much as they have been doing. And it is a home fixture too, so they got that advantage as well of the home crowd and the fans behind them. And it's going to be tough for Man United away, especially against Man City.
Yeah, I mean, I plan to have Cancelo still. I know a lot of people have actually considered getting rid of him just because the blank as well is a bit of a tough scenario. You've got to have a good bench, and you've also got to have players that have a good fixture in game week 12 where you can play them, i.e. Justin, who does have a decent fixture in 12, I believe. Or even Andreas. I'm just seeing who Andreas has in game week 12. So Andreas has Villa. So you could play Andreas when you want to bench the City assets. But it'll be interesting to see what we do with the City assets come to game week 12. Do we get rid or sell them? Or do we actually just bench them for those weeks? Because some people have, most people have Haaland. Cancelo is quite popular. Some people might have a triple up, but I don't know if we need a triple up at the moment in time. But yeah, that's my current team. Hope you guys let me know your thoughts. I hope you guys do like it, and if anyone is wildcarding Game Week 9, do let me know. I think we got Kawanda says good evening. My wildcard is active as well. Good evening to you, Kawanda. Hope you're doing well. So yeah, we do have another Game Week 9 wildcarder here. We've also got says I'm looking to go without Trent to West Ham. Can't see Liverpool keeping clean sheets, even if he's good going forward. That's fair shout. I mean, Liverpool have conceded quite a few sloppy goals, but that's why it actually appeals to me having a Trent, because I know Trent is a bit of a differential this week, and I'm hoping he can, if he gets a clean sheet against Brighton at home, he can nick an assist or something. You know, it'll be a nice one for us Trent owners, but we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, a long way to go still. But yeah, that's enough of my team anyway. Let's get that out of the way. This is my Game Week 9 wildcard team. Jordan's done another team. So, Jordan, we are going to bring up your team. I know I actually haven't seen what you've gone with this time, because usually we see each other's teams before, but it's a bit new to me to see what you've gone with. So
I've even forgotten myself. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah. Okay, so that's my one. Let's pop up yours on the screen right now. There you go. Talk us through why you've gone with the players. Maybe go into depth more on the ones I've gone different, because obviously some of the players have remained the same.
Yeah, just before I go into details of my wildcard, I just want to clarify that I've already used my wildcard. If people are wondering why there's another wildcard team on my screen, this is obviously in case I did choose to wildcard in Game Week 9, just to clarify to everyone. And this is what I would probably pick if I was doing it. So, without further ado, yeah, I'll go through my players. I'll go through the ones briefly that we've already talked about. Obviously, Guaita, he has, after Chelsea game, he has good fixtures. Crystal Palace, arguably. And you could say Ward is not expected to keep many clean sheets, as Leicester haven't at all. So, Guaita is the optional pick, even though he has Chelsea at home. I do think Guaita can outscore Ward still, even though Ward has Nottingham Forest. His quality as a goalkeeper isn't up to standards in the Premier League. So I think that makes Guaita an easy pick. And in terms of fixtures for Crystal Palace, we've spoken about, they're pretty good long term. So Guaita is a good pick to go forward with in your wildcard in Game Week 9. And now we move on to the back three, which consists of first, Reece James, who has Crystal Palace away. This is similar to obviously Crystal Palace as well. They have good fixtures and long term. Chelsea, it's a bit of a query whether now under new management can Chelsea start keeping these clean sheets now. And I do think with the right manager now, who's now moved to Chelsea, I think he can change the team into them now keeping clean sheets and not conceding goals. Unlike what Tuchel was doing with the team. But yeah, I do think now Chelsea will start to have a stronger defence, more formidable and impenetrable defence against attacking teams. And Reece James is a perfect pick for one of those, because he's a mixture of both. He's a defender, but also he's an attacking one as well. So you have that added bonus on top of that. So he has a potential to score and get an assist as well as clean sheets. So you get the best of three perks with him. And with all the other assets for Chelsea, not really any have really come out of their shell that we've seen so far. But I think now, under new management, we'll start to see these Chelsea players that we expected at the start of the season to sort of come out more, like Reece James has. So for now, though, the main focus is Reece James, because we just know he's reliable and an attacking threat. So yeah, it's good. It's a bit weird because I do have Guaita and Reece James, which both clash together. So there is that. Well, if one player keeps a clean sheet, then the other one sort of voids him out. But I mean, you could play Ward, but I'm just not confident on Ward, if I'm honest. And even though it's not the Forest at home, I'd probably pick Guaita anyway. But yeah, I've just gone with that for the wild card so far. So that's Reece James out of the way. Move on to Cancelo briefly.
I was just going to say it's very similar to my team. I mean, it's pretty much the same, other than Tony, and then obviously a couple of bench players.
Yeah, Cancelo and Trent, obviously they've been spoken about it's probably the same reasons as Hussey explained, and so that pretty much covers the defense. I've gone
Mm.
4-3 at the back. Move on to the 4 in midfield. So we've spoken about. Well, obviously Andreas is on my starting team. He's not on the bench because I don't have Trippier, so there is no real clash between those fixtures. So I can afford to play Trippier, who has Newcastle at home, and hope that he gets something out of that game. I mean, in terms of Fulham assets, there's only really Mitrovic and Andreas that you would really consider. And Andreas being 4.5 mil midfielder, he's probably the best choice you can go for. And there's no real other pick around
One
that
thing I
mark.
was going to say, I'm surprised you've gone without Trippier. He's now 44.7% owned.
Yeah.
Decent fixtures as well. Because you plan to play free at the back, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Most weeks.
Yeah, most weeks will be free at the back. I'm just not too keen on Newcastle's obviously the next fixtures. I know they look quite good for Newcastle, but I wasn't too sure whether they can keep clean sheets in them.
They've got Fulham next, which is, I think it's a decent fixture. Then they've got Brentford. But then after that, it does get slightly tougher. Man United in game week 11. Everton in 12, which I think is quite good. They got Spurs in game week 13. So maybe there's an odd couple tough fixtures in there. But Trippier, I think he has shown this season that he's a good asset. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, no doubt. Trippier has shown himself as a great asset for fantasy this season. It's just the fixtures have slightly put me off of Trippier. I mean, I don't expect a clean sheet against Fulham. I do think that is definitely, even though Sherwin disagrees with that comment, I do see Mitrovic scoring in that game, or someone scoring in that game.
Mm-hmm.
I do think they could penetrate Newcastle's defence for them. And
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty much the same for like Brentford as well. I just feel like those attacking teams can really do some damage against like a team like Newcastle. Even though they're quite solid at the back, I just feel like they'll slip one through. They might just Newcastle might still win that game, but they'll just concede, I think.
Let's talk about Tony, because I've seen you've included Tony in your team up front. Obviously, I've gone Solanke, obviously a lot cheaper or a bit cheaper, and then that's let me kind of do the rest of my team. You've gone Tony. What do you like about Tony on a Game Week 9 wildcard, and what's your thoughts on him? You know, I'll bring up the fixtures as well.
Well, Tony, he has probably the second best fixture for Game Week 9, and for my team in general, I will be bringing him in for that fixture as well, Tony. And we've obviously seen him. He scored a hat-trick in his previous game. He's been on quite good form. Although Brentford had a really bad game against Arsenal previously, but that was probably just a one-off for Brentford because they're usually a good attacking threat, even to teams like Arsenal in the top 5. So I feel like after a rest period for Brentford, they can sort of recollect and get their engines running against Bournemouth in the away fixture. So I do think that will be a very high-scoring game for both teams. I do think both will be at it, not just Tony, but also like you've picked Solanke, who would be a great pick if he does score because no one really owns him. So that fixture, I think, is a good one for Tony. I mean, after the obviously Bournemouth fixtures, they're not so bad for Brentford. And
yeah, I've got them here. If you want me to go through them, so
yeah,
Bournemouth, as you've mentioned already, is a pretty good fixture for Tony. Definitely, there's a potential for him to get a haul in that game. But after that, he's got Newcastle, which would you say that's decent for him?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty decent for him.
Then they've got Brighton. Then they've got Chelsea. Then they've got Villa. Then Wolves. Then Nottingham Forest. And then Man City in 16. So they don't look too bad, to be honest, the fixtures, especially gaming 13 to 15 are pretty good as well. And even obviously, as we mentioned, gaming 9, you know, Tony against Bournemouth is one that you can definitely look to hopefully get some points in. And I can see why you'd go there. For me, he's 7.2 million at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, he's currently 7.2 mil. I probably expect him to rise more to come near that deadline, obviously, because that fixture is really good. It's like the same for Maddison as well. His fixtures, they've probably got the best two fixtures, Maddison and Tony. So there'll be probably price rises from both those players. But yeah, Tony in the long term run as well is really good. I mean, we have seen him blow hot and cold in obviously matches, which where we saw previously he blew back-to-back blanks, and then suddenly after those 2 game weeks he scored a hat-trick where people got rid of him. So I do think personally for me, I'll hold on to Tony for long term, and that's why I bought him a wild card. I think of the long-term aspect and the fixtures that obviously Brentford have, and the player that will mostly get the points, and on top of that, Tony is on penalties too.
Yeah, I think Tony is still a good pick. You know, he's had a consistent scoring. He's only blanked in 3 games so far. He's played 8 games, 3 blanks. He's got 117-point haul in against Leeds, 8 points against Fulham, 9 points against Man United, 8 points against Leicester as well. So he's done pretty well. So I see why Tony is a good pick. Got a guy in the chat says no Newcastle assets and with loads of question marks, which I mean it's surprising to me as obviously you've gone to no Newcastle. Trippier is the one that I think a lot of people would probably have.
Yeah, I mean it's like similar to almost similar to Game Week 8 where there was no Liverpool assets and everyone was like questioning why is there no Liverpool assets. I know they had a blank, but obviously you would have thought last season it would be crazy to get rid of Liverpool assets just because how well they've been doing. But with Newcastle, I'm just not too sure of their fixtures if they can keep it up, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I've gone without Newcastle. I think Trippier might have a slight dip.
Also, the budget. Could you fit Trippier in somehow anyway in this team? You'll have to downgrade elsewhere to get Trippier in your scenario. Like you got Nico on the bench, you got Anderson. Surprising. I mean, I guess it covers Palace. That's why you've gone with them. You bit of kind of double Palace. How much is Anderson at the moment though? Is he 4 point?
I think it's 4.5.
Is he 4.5? I'm trying to check because I'm actually not sure what Anderson's price is. I think he is 4.5 though. Anderson, 4.5. So he's going to be quite hard for you to get to Trippier.
Yeah.
Unless you sell, Cancelo. You probably don't want to do that.
No.
That's why I've gone with that's actually one reason why I went with Solanke, just so I can afford Trippier, Cancelo, James, and Trent. But yeah, there's always sacrifices to be made, I guess, in certain teams.
I just want to highlight Kwanda's comment when he says no Spurs assets also. Yeah, I mean, Spurs' difficulty for fixtures are quite a snakes and ladders. They're hard and then they're easy. And I don't know if I want to include Spurs assets. I mean, they were good for the Leicester game that they had previously, obviously, because I did bring in triple Spurs for that fixture. But after that, I don't. I mean, I don't know.
I think if I could speak about Spurs slightly. Yeah. I mean, they got Arsenal next, Spurs in Game Week 9, so that could be a tough one. Then they've got Brighton in Game Week 10, Spurs, which might be a good fixture. Then Everton, which I'll say another great fixture in Game Week 11. I've actually considered Haaland out for Kane in Game Week 11 for a 2-week punt. Because
Haaland out for Kane.
Yeah, in Game Week 11. Because in Game Week 11, who does Haaland have in Game Week 11? It's Game Week 11, isn't it? Yeah, Haaland has Liverpool in Game Week 11, and then he blanks in Game Week 12. So if you got Kane in, for example, you bring Kane in Game Week 11, Kane plays Everton at home in Game Week 11, potentially captain worthy in Game Week 11. So you could captain you could captain Kane, and then he's got Man United in Game Week 12 when you probably can get rid of him and bring Haaland back after that. I'm just a thought. I don't know if I'll probably get rid of Haaland because he's a machine, but you could actually get rid of Haaland if you don't believe he'll score against Liverpool, which as the way Liverpool are playing, he probably will score. But just a quick thought, I've had that idea of potentially getting rid of him and getting Kane into captain.
And also, in reference to Kwanda's comment as well, the way this wildcard team is set up is I couldn't really include a Spurs player. Let's say, for example, if I wanted to include Harry Kane, it would mean I have to take out Haaland, which I'm not going to do. And if I wanted to bring in Son, for example, again, it would require me taking out Salah.
Yeah.
Really realistically, if I were to do a 1-3 transfer swing to a player. And the only real option is really in defense, Perisic as an attacking threat.
Perisic.
And yeah, so just say Perisic.
Yeah, no, I
Perisic.
mean, you could bring him in. It's just
Yeah.
he's a bit of a risk as well, isn't he? Now, the way we've seen, he's not.
Yeah, he is a bit risky. It was a bit disappointing that Conte substituted him off in the 54th minute in that Leicester game, which I felt like he should have played a bit more minutes in that game. I don't know why he substituted him off so early.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't play 90 minutes most games anyway, and he's also the potential to get benched in certain games. So I think Spurs, it might be a bit mad, but I think a lot of people won't consider Spurs because Son is hard to get to if you've got Salah, and then Kane's hard to get to if you have Haaland. I think you've got to decide whether you want Salah or a Spurs player. Basically, that's what it comes down to. Whether you want Salah or Son.
Yeah, because you definitely want Zaha and Maddison in your team just for the long-term fixtures that they have, and we obviously seen a return from Maddison already from that Spurs game. So we just know Leicester in attack still has that capability, even against teams like Tottenham, for example.
Yeah. Now, as I've said, Son or Salah, take your pick. I'm on Salah. I just think Brighton at home is a better fixture for that week, and I think Salah's a bit of a differential now. So yeah. Also got Stuart in the chat. Stuart Wallace, welcome to the channel. He says, "Can you help me? Option 1, play Sofal in hope of a clean sheet and roll. Option 2, trade out Perisic for Trent or James and play a back through with Cancel and Trippier. Play Sofal and on a hope of a clean sheet and OPL. Who does West Ham have? Let me just double check of who West Ham actually play. So they play. West Ham play Wolves in game week 9. I mean, you could play him in that game, but I'd be tempted to bring in a Trent or a James, to be honest, because Trent's got Brighton at home, and James also has a good fixture against Palace. So I'd probably do that transfer. I mean, are you on? When did you wildcard? Because as long as you got plans for game week 12 and etc., but I'd probably do the transfer.
Yeah. I'd probably do the transfer.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big upgrade. 4.4 million defender compared to Trent and James. I mean, if you can do it, then I think it's a good move. Yeah. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Got Adam in the chat. Shout out to him. Welcome. He says, "Hey bros, hope you're well. What do you think of Eze as an option? Think I might triple up on Palace somehow." Interesting. I mean, I like Eze as a player. I know Zaha is the one everyone is looking at the moment as the popular pick for Palace as an attacking option. Guaita's in a lot of teams as well. But I'm not against Eze as an option at 5.5 million. I think he is a really good option to have if you think Palace are going to do that well. I'd prefer just to have one attacking player, which is Zaha. I've not considered a triple up, to be honest, especially a double attack for Palace. But it's interesting. I think Eze is a good option. If you can't afford Zaha for whatever reason, I think Eze could be a decent option. But I still think Zaha's preferred option for me, mainly because Zaha's got penalties as well. So we know Palace, when they get penalties, that is a bit of a big benefit of having Zaha over Eze. But obviously Eze is a lot cheaper. But now I'm not against it. Would I do triple up or double attack? Probably not, because I think Maddison. Barnes is one as well you might want to look at if you want to go a bit different, because everyone's considering Maddison. Not many people are considering Barnes. So you could maybe go double. I prefer to do double Leicester against Nottingham Forest rather than Eze. But Eze does have good long-term fixtures, as I've mentioned, along with Zaha. But yeah, hope that answers your question. Also, guys, there's about 17 of you in here. Can you please drop a like on the stream if you can? It really helps us grow the channel, and it also helps us out a lot. So if you can drop a like, and also if you haven't subscribed to our channel, do subscribe as well. And yeah, it also helps us out a lot. So do subscribe and drop a like on the stream if you can. Jordan, I'll let you take this one.
Elliot says, "Hey guys, welcome, Elliot. Stones or Van Dijk on a wild card? I'll probably pick Van Dijk just because of the fixture Liverpool has compared to Man City, because obviously Stones has Man United next at home, but Liverpool have Brighton at home next. So I do expect a probability of a clean sheet more from Liverpool than I do from Man City."
Yeah, I hear that. Also, with Stones, he's got a blank as well in Game Week 12. So you've got to navigate that as well. So if you do bring in Stones, you've got to be prepared for a benching, or if you can get around that. On a wild card, I mean, you've gone with Van Dijk. I mean, if you can get Trent, I'd probably try to get Trent in if you can stretch that. Maybe you can't afford it on the budget, but if you're on a wild card, I think I've not actually considered any other Liverpool defender apart from Trent. I just think Van Dijk, and I'm still not 100% sure on Liverpool in terms of clean sheets. If I'm being honest, as a Liverpool fan myself, I'm still not completely sold on the clean sheets for Liverpool. But the reason I've included Trent in my wildcard team, as I'll show you guys, is purely because I think Trent has the attacking potential for goals, assists, and even bonus points. But Thiago is back now from injury. Joel Matip is back from injury. Liverpool did play quite well in the Champions League game, the last game out. So I do expect Liverpool's defense to definitely improve with Thiago and Matip in the side, providing more balance. It's just I need to see Liverpool play a few more games to see how they are defensively, but I think they should get better. But yeah, that's just my opinion on the Van Dijk situation. I think with Van Dijk, you're relying more on the clean sheets, and Liverpool haven't looked like they've kept many clean sheets this season so far. FPL Penguin says, "Smash the like button, guys, and subscribe to the FPL Duo too." Yeah, please do press the like button, and also subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here. Thank you, FPL Penguin. Nice to see you here, mate. Hope you're doing well as well. Jordan, do you want to take this one?
Oh yes, Elliot says Game Week 9 captain options. Yes, I have in mind, if I was going to go wild with it, Maddison, I would probably want to take a risk on him as a captain option in Game Week 9 because he has Nottingham Forest at home. And just from scoring from last previous fixture against Spurs, that Nottingham at home fixture, that looks really good for Maddison. And I feel like he will potentially get a haul in that game. And if he does, then he'll be a massive differential captaincy pick if you do go for him.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Game Week 9, obviously, as you see on my team on the screen at the moment, I've got the captain's armband on Salah against Brighton. But I was thinking about this, the other day, literally yesterday, I was thinking, I know I'm going to have Salah in my team, but I'm actually tempted to go with Haaland as captain against Man United. For some reason, I just think Haaland, he's definitely going to play in that game. It's a Manchester derby, and I think there's no worry of rotation because big game, and I think Haaland, it's a big game. He'd want to make an impression, so I'm actually tempted to go Haaland. I've considered Haaland. If I had to pick right now, I'd probably lean towards Haaland against Man United. I just feel like he's going to get a goal in that game, and I know he's going to play, 80 minutes plus. So yeah, maybe it's boring going Haaland, but does a fixture put you off, guys? Let me know in the chat. Would you captain Haaland against Man United? Because at the moment, if I had to pick today, I'd probably pick Haaland, and even though I've got the ban of Salah at the moment. But yeah, have you thought about that, Jordan? Would you go Haaland against United as a United fan?
The only thing is with going captaincy with Haaland is if you do go against it, it's risky now because everyone is like perma-captaining Haaland now, even though it depends, no matter what his fixture is, even though it's Man United at home, which I would consider a very difficult one for both those teams, as we've seen that fixture in the past. And with improvements for Man United that we've seen, not just in attack, but also defence as well, that could bring some difficulties for Man City. I mean, maybe Haaland does blank in that fixture and might shock everyone for that captaincy option. I just feel like I know he's a great player and he's shown that as well, the potential he can get. I just feel like that fixture is just, let's say, cursed. in terms of it could ruin people's lives. And let's say Haaland does blank and he's captained a lot. That's going to be a lot of not happy people if he does blank in that fixture.
The only thing I will say actually about that Man United Man City game, I do think it'll be quite low scoring. That's my worry about going Haaland. Like I think Haaland will score at least one, but will he get 2, 3?
Yeah.
I don't see that happening, but I might be wrong.
That
But yeah, I see Haaland getting a return, but maybe not multiple returns, and that's where Salah against Brighton and Maddison even potentially. I mean, I've not considered Maddison at all, if I'm being honest. I've not considered him at all as a captain option. I know the fixture looks great, but I think having him in your team is a bit of a differential, maybe anyway. I'm hoping, but
yeah, he's definitely a differential. He's just over 5% owned.
I'm surprised at that. You know,
Yeah, it is shocking.
I think that will go up though.
Oh yeah, it'll definitely shoot up Madison's ownership. I just feel like it's because of Leicester haven't been that great this season. It's been off-putting for many people. I think they've just completely forgotten about lesser assets like Maddison. Even though his fixtures are great, I think a lot of people even benched him against Spurs in the last fixture, the one he scored in as well.
Yeah, I've seen that. A lot of people did that actually.
And that was the regret for most people, because if you did bring him in for that fixture, not that fixture, for your team, you should have as well played him, because what was the point of bringing him in? I know it's for the long term, but you might as well have played him in Spurs, because you never know what would happen. That's a big scoring game, as we've seen previously in that fixture against both teams.
Yeah, I agree there. But yeah, captain, we're going to discuss cap. We're not going to get too much into captains at the moment, because obviously game week 9 is still a long way away, and we are going to make videos on our team selection and all that. We're going to go into depth about that later. Adam says, considering Zamora of Bournemouth, I know it's crazy, but he can be good. Only 4.4 million because I want Solanke. I feel having another Bournemouth isn't so bad, and I don't want Billing. What do you think? I mean, I've not considered any Bournemouth players apart from Solanke, if I'm being honest. So for me, Solanke is the only one I'd actually consider from Bournemouth, personally, because he's quite cheap as well. So that's my current thinking on that one. He also says, I'm going to captain Salah against Brighton. I think because derby games, captaining, I have bad experience. Just feel Martinez will kill Haaland man-to-man all game, but it's Haaland, so probs 2 goals again. There you go. Haaland, he has the potential to do madness.
That's what I said about Man United's defence improving, like with these new signings like Martinez and what was the other one?
Obviously, Varane's back now in the play. Yeah. Maguire's been completely dropped, so...
Yeah, that the fact that Maguire's been completely dropped gives me confidence as a Man United fan, because whenever he plays, everything goes wrong. I'm sorry to say that, but it really does whenever he's on the pitch. So if he's comfortable on the bench now, I feel like Man United's defence is a bit more reliable at the back.
Looked better.
Yes, it's looked better in the past few matches, because they've kept, I think, 4 clean sheets thus far. So that gives you a lot of hope.
Yep. We've got Sherwin. All Liverpool attackers are fit now. Salah is nailed. What do you think of rotation for the other 2 positions, Huss? Well, yeah, that will actually kind of ties into this question about captaining Luis Diaz. Now, talking about Liverpool, Salah is nailed every game if he's fit, as we know. Luis Diaz might become a slight risk, I think, because Jota's now back. But I feel like the risk is out of Jota and Nunes. I think Jota and Nunes mainly play down the middle, and they're their potential minutes risk. I think there's no one to really compete with Salah on that right-hand side. Even the left-hand side, I think Luis Diaz has pretty much nailed down that left side for himself. I think the problem is down the middle, Liverpool have Firmino, they have Nunes, and they have Jota. So 3 players vying for one spot. So I think Jota and Nunes are still risky in terms of minutes for me. But Luis Diaz, I think Luis Diaz will still play most games. I think he will get the odd benching, where it will be a bit of a surprise where Luis Diaz doesn't play. But I think Nunes and Jota are much bigger rotation risks for Liverpool. That's why I'm a bit scared to bring in Nunes myself on a wild card or something like that. I think Luis Diaz is fairly... I don't want to say nailed, because Liverpool do have a lot of attackers, but Luis Diaz is one player that I think will play majority of games if he's fit, because the Liverpool... Nunes on the left and Jota on the left isn't the same. They don't provide the same, ability to beat a man as Luis Diaz does, and I think they're better down the middle. Well, Christian as well in the chat. Welcome to the chat, mate. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to captain Son or Salah for Game Week 9. I told you lot Son was the right captain for the Leicester game. Yeah, we had a big chat about the Son stuff. Is it salty if I say it was lucky or? I mean, fair play. If you did captain Son, by the way, congrats, because that was a big move. Big points return. So happy for you guys that did captain Son. Game Week 9, I've not thought about Son captain. If I'm honest, have you, Jordan? I mean, not got Son in your team,
No,
so
not at all. Spurs have Arsenal next.
So
It's going to be really tough the way Arsenal are playing at the moment. I mean, I would be afraid to captain Son in that game. I know he's back on form from that hat trick he scored against Leicester, but that wouldn't tempt me to captain him after that. Still, even bringing him in, I wouldn't do it.
I probably agree with you. I still think Son for me is slightly. I know he got the hat trick and everything, but for me, he's still a slight worry going there with Son, because a lot of it is down to fixtures as well. I think Spurs' fixtures is just like you mentioned earlier. It's a bit up and down. It gets hard again, and it gets easier. And they don't really have a block of fixtures where you could just say I'm going to have this player for this many weeks. Kwanda says he won't captain Haaland or Madison. I like Salah or someone else. Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, arguably that is a better choice because the fixture might be off-putting for the people. In the derby game, can Haaland get anything from that? Or is it enough to beat Madison or Salah in terms of return? Because them two both favourably have better fixtures than Haaland.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, usually you look at that fixture against Man United and think, it's a derby, etc. It's going to be low scoring, but the way Haaland's kicked off this season, I wouldn't rule it past him to get a couple in that game. And he's going to want to make a big impression, against Man United, rivalry, etc. First game, so I think it's going to be a good game. Definitely, I'm going to be watching that one. Should be good. Also, guys, if you are still with us, please do drop a like on the video if you can. And that's our Wildcard 9 teams out the way. Just going to quickly recap. On the screen is my Wildcard 9 team. I am actually wildcarding Game Week 9. The button is already pressed. I've activated the wildcard, and you will see more videos for my wildcard draft to come. We will do a few more videos on this. And Jordan's team, if he was wildcarding, obviously he was a Game Week 8 wildcarder. That's his team for Game Week 9. Interesting, similar, pretty much, but as expected, obviously, that's not going to be, most of us will have similar teams. I think if you are wildcarding in Game Week 9, it's just the odd differences, Tony, Solanke, maybe Nico and against Patterson, etc. So it's just little minor issues like where you got think of that, but all in all, the teams are going to be fairly similar if you're wildcarding in Game Week 9. I think. I mean, would you agree, Jordan?
Yeah, it was like in Game Week 8. It was similar to in terms of people included Spurs assets, for example, like Perisic, Son, and Kane, because of the fixture they had at Leicester at home. And yeah, we just target those which you'd think you get points out of, obviously the players. So this is just an example in Game Week 9 of our wildcards who we think will score the most points in that in the game week.
Yeah, so hope that's answered a few of your questions regarding the wildcard. Also, I want to know if anyone else is a wildcard in Game Week 9. And if you have played your wildcard, there's obviously wildcard a lot more wildcard videos to come. I've seen a few people also mention Game Week 12 or Game Week 13 wildcards, but we're not going to get into all that right now. We're going to discuss that when the time is right, when we're close to Game Week 13. Roman, welcome to the channel. He says, "Hi lads, been a while. Quite surprised at the Justin pick. Apart from that, looks very good. I mean, I'm not going to play Justin most weeks. The reason I've got Justin on here isn't because of his defensive ability, because I know Leicester's defense isn't great, and a lot of people will, as you have raised an eyebrow, why have I included Justin? But it comes down to that Game Week 12. We know Man City blank. So I won't have Cancelo available. I won't have Haaland available. So the thinking was, Leicester have Leeds. Yeah, Leeds in Game Week 12. So can Justin get an attacking return against Leeds? Maybe. So I'm hoping so anyway. So that was just the thinking with Justin. Now that could change. Nothing is locked. So it could be Justin. It could be Patterson at Everton. Could be Nico. But I still think Leicester, I just like Justin because he's a bit more attacking threat than a Patterson, for example. All sports fan Adam as well. He said 11 days till Premier League back, then 21 days of football over 44 days before a World Cup break of 42 days, which means 21 out of 97 days of football before Boxing Day. Going to be tough. Yeah, we're gonna be here all the way, guys. Regular streams. We're gonna be putting out 3-4 a week. So if you don't want to miss anything, please do subscribe to the channel. And we hope you guys are enjoying the content. And if you are, as always, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. But yeah, Adam says he's also on the wildcard. So yeah, quite a few of us in here. Game Week 9 wildcard is nice to see. But yeah, we are gonna wrap it up soon. But what else did you want to add, Jordan?
It just seems like a lot more people wildcard in Game Week 9, which is interesting than obviously Game Week 8, which is it's quite intriguing how many people use their chips in Game Week 9 compared to Game Week 8.
Yeah, it's going to be good to see where all the teams. Obviously, I do have 2 weeks now to just tinker around with my wildcard team. Hopefully, I don't go overboard and start taking out players I shouldn't be taking out. But it's good to have that time now to think about it. Any injuries at all will hit international break. So yeah, I think it should be a good one. Also, yeah, don't forget to like, guys. If you haven't already, please do drop a like. I'm gonna see how many likes we actually have on the video because I never check. So I need you guys to like the video just because it helps our channel out a lot. I know. Let me just. So how many likes are we on at the moment? 14 likes, and there's 25 of you right here, right now. So come on, guys, with 25 likes, if we can.
All it takes is a click of a button.
Yep, and it's free, guys. But yeah, we are going to wrap the stream up. Adam says, great stream, bros. Take care. I'm feeling confident over our wild cards. Some great tips and analysis. Thanks all, like and sub all. Yeah, guys. Shout out to Adam. He's always always nice to us. So yeah, thank you for the comments. I hope you do enjoy the content. And yeah, thank you again. But yeah, Jordan, we are going to wrap it up here. We've been going for about an hour speaking about Game Week 9 wildcard. So we are going to discuss more. Obviously, a long way to go before the international break, ends again. So a lot of videos to come. We're going to have transfer tips out. We're going to have, team selection, all that good stuff. So do subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out anything. So that's it from us. Anything else, Jordan, before we go?
Just thank you, everyone, for your comments in the chat. It's very much appreciated. And for all those that have subscribed to the channel, welcome. And we hope you have a very nice international break, everyone. And yeah, we'll be back very soon with another video.
Also, Stuart Wallace. Sorry about that. I saw James there, so I thought, he says Trent or James, both. Get both in your team. But yeah, that's it from us. Take care, guys, and we hope to see you again for another video, another stream, very, very soon. So that's it from the FPL Duo. Have a good one, and see you soon. Take care, guys.
Take care, guys. See you soon.